Welcome back to the Barca Breakdown. My name is Adam. I'm here with the Use.
What's up, guys? Smash that subscribe button because we just beat
Boom!
Napoli going through in the Europa League. This is what we've been waiting for, guys. We are so excited because we finally are on our way winning some games in international play because, in the Champions League wasn't good.
4 goals past Atletico Madrid. 4 goals past Valencia. 4 goals past Napoli. I mean, it's just really become such a delight. And the team is really firing on all cylinders now that we got Pedri back and healthy. I think that's a really underrated part of why things have taken off. Because if you remember, the beginning of January, we were a little bit, I wouldn't say critical of Xavi, but we were worried that things weren't improving at the rate we wanted to, even though we had constantly preached patience. But man, things are just incredible right now, man. You have Jordi Alba and Traore on a counterattack for that first goal. You have Frenkie de Jong just looking like his absolute best self. It's exactly what we were hoping for, right? When you get one of the greatest midfielders of all time, Xavi Hernandez, to take over as coach. He's really just unlocked Frenkie de Jong in a way that I just think is so beautiful. And, putting 4 goals past this Napoli side is a huge achievement, because this Napoli side has one of the least allowed goals in all of the top 5 leagues, and we went out and smoked them, man. I mean, there's not really anything that you can be overly critical of this game. It was just overall a wonderful performance, and I thought it just brought so much joy to me and all the Barca fans I was seeing and talking to.
Definitely, and you could see the players on the pitch. They were excited. They were happy. Things seemed to naturally come. That Frenkie de Jong goal, that little kick over the top, beautiful, effortless.
Looked
that
like
man
Messi.
just had... Yeah, it was just a wonderful, wonderful goal. The whole game overall was very good. I was excited to see some of these passing, the pushing forward. Even you mentioned that counterattack in the beginning. That's not Barca style, at least what we've seen in the last
But, I mean,
few
Napoli,
months.
man, had one of the worst corners I've ever seen.
Oh, I know.
You have Obama get it out there quickly. He passes it to Traore. Traore is just a tank. Pushing off defenders, gets it to Alba. Alba finishes with his weak foot. It was exactly what we needed in this big game. Remember, on the pre-match video we did yesterday, we had talked about, well, if Napoli score early, are the young players going to get dejected? And, just right out of the gate, the players who we got in this transfer window, Aubameyang and Adama Traore, just gave it their everything. And I think it's so wonderful to see. Between Torres, Aubameyang, and Traore, they have just helped us and bolstered that front line so much in a way that, it just makes you so happy, because those players are players who, aren't necessarily like world-class superstars you think of, but are very good. And to see them come to Barca on reduced salary, a free transfer for, I think, both Aubameyang and Traore, and to see them just pay so many dividends. I mean, Traore had 2 assists today. He has like 5 assists so far on Barca, and I think he had 3 assists in the last 2 years. Some crazy stat like that. And so overall, I'm just so happy with how things are working, how Frenkie de Jong looked, how Busquets looked, right? Busquets, even though Pedri and Frenkie de Jong get a lot of hype as, younger players, Pedri, again, only the age of 19, but Busquets looked really good today. And the beautiful thing is, we were talking pre-match what we wanted to see. We wanted to see Busquets as a sub. Well, you can either sub him out at the 70th minute like we did today, or put him in as a sub. But having Busquets just with a limited time frame to play and be able to give it his all for those 60 or 30 minutes, it's really working out wonderful. And I love to see Xavi, who was originally starting Busquets every game, all game, he's starting to adjust and make the type of changes that we need to see. And I think that the number one thing that Xavi's brought to this team that we have to talk about is the pressing. It's just every time Napoli tried to create out of the back, they just got stifled. And the best part was, if they got back out of that first line of defense we had, there was immediately another line, our midfield, pressing them. And so we really just, put a stranglehold on them. They had a few attempts at a counter. We all saw Ter Stegen had a pretty big blunder letting up that penalty. And then, the last goal, the second goal that Napoli scored, was a mistake by Nico, also a rough tackle that the ref didn't call a foul. And, we need to shore up the defense, right? I think for the next 4 years, we're going to talk about how we need to improve our defense. But just overall, great performance. El Capitan, El Presidente, Gerard Pique scoring a goal. What bliss, Use.
But you know what I think about is, we've talked about time and time again in some of these big games, these older players do not come out and perform very well. But today we had Pique, Alba both scoring goals, Busquets looking good. Overall, I think the people that were supposed to lead in the games did that, and the young players showed up as well. I think it was just overall a wholesome team that came together and was able to perform on the pitch. They looked happy. They were scoring goals, even though we were up 2-0, and then they scored that penalty. It was 2-1. We didn't stop. We kept scoring. Pique scores right before the end of the half. Second half goes in, and then, like you said, that unfortunate goal, but Aubameyang still trying to score goals. He was trying to put them in the whole game. We had many opportunities. He had a couple couple headers that could have gone in. And overall, our team just looked like we were connected, we were fluid. Coming off that game off Valencia,
one person we have to shout out, right, is Serginho Dest. He has been getting more and more time because, remember, Dani Alves is not in the Europa League, and Dani Alves has been suspended because of that red card he picked up, I think, against Atletico or Espanyol, possibly. And so,
Alves is not going to play in Europa because he didn't get selected,
that's what I just said. He wasn't. He's not registered. And so Serginho Dest has been taking this time when he's got some playtime, and he is improving rapidly as well. And I think it's really a lesson for all of us about how we just need to have that patience, right? You go back to like the very first video we had after Messi left, and all we kept saying is, we're in a rebuild, we need patience. And even when things are going well right now, I think we still need to keep that in mind, because I see a lot of people on the timeline on Twitter, Instagram, they're getting all hyped about how we have a Clasico in like 3 to 4 matches in late March and how we play Sevilla. I think we all need to just take a step back and just appreciate what's going on here. And, of course, that comes with the expectation that we'll show up and we'll push even farther into this Europa League and hopefully easily solidify maybe number 2, but definitely number 3 in La Liga. But we just got to be patient. We got to let people like Dest grow. We got to let Nico and Gavi grow, right? I think it's been so interesting to see how in these last, in February and some of these big games, Nico and Gavi, who were starting games in January and December, they have, now that Pedri's healthy, been put on the bench, and I think that's perfect for them, because I always get worried when we put these, young players into these big matches, if they're going to get dejected, if the media is going to be against them, because you just see how much our players grow when the fans and the media are supporting them, right? Because you think about Jordi Alba, a month ago, he was being dragged through the mud, he looked disinterested in games, and now that things are going better, you see him putting in a great performance, and Jordi Alba is one of those people it's so hard to think about because we have so many really bad memories with him, but he comes into games like this and he can just show that he still has the ability to be a top 3 left back in the world and put up a great performance. And so I'm just so happy to see that. I think as well, it must be said, Pique and Aurajo again formed a great partnership, not only with Pique's goal, but we snubbed out a lot of offensive opportunities from Napoli, and Aurajo was critical in that.
No, definitely. And I think, it is such a good thing that our team, our young players, are getting to see this side of Barca, because for so long we were struggling, we couldn't get things together. We would come on, draws. 100%. And I just think that Xavi's getting things together now, especially with that winter transfer window, getting all those players. Still, I feel like Ferran Torres has still not totally found his spot. He had that back heel to Frenkie de Jong that scored that goal, but overall he hasn't been performing very well. And nothing particularly fantastic, I should say. But he's
confusing to look at too, right? Because at the same that Ferran Torres is not putting in goals, like I see him on the ball constantly. I see him making runs. I see him, trying to help facilitate the offense. And I don't think he has picked up the partnership as well as Traore and Aubameyang. Those two seem to really like each other and like to play together well on the pitch. But Ferran Torres, it'll come, right? I was just talking about how Serginho Dest and Jordi Alba were in a bad spot a month ago, and people wanted them gone. Frenkie de Jong too, and now they've all turned around and really shown what they're worth and capable of. And I think with Ferran Torres, even as much as I want to see some lineups without Ferran Torres starting, I do think if we just give him a little bit more time, he's going to show the type of revolution that Frenkie has had this season, or that we're seeing with Dest.
And we definitely have that time to give him, because, we're moving to the Europa League. We have still quite a few games left in La Liga. We're coming up against Athletic Bilbao this weekend, and that game in itself is going to be tough, right? Because I think we lost to them in the Copa del Rey, and we also drew them earlier in the season 1-1. So it's not like that game is going to be a piece of cake. Ferran Torres still needs to turn it on coming into that game if we start him. Same with everybody else, of course, because it's not ending here. We're still fighting for that top 4 spot. Even if we win Europa League, we'd like to see that. And the players, we want them to get this confidence now, because coming into next season, we don't want to start out like we did this season. Obviously, we started with Koeman. We won like maybe the first 2 games, and then everything went to shit after that. I just really love it.
Do you think Gavi got that yellow card on purpose so he wouldn't be suspended in later rounds, or do you think he's really just hasn't been able to drop his yellow card issues yet? Because it just seems like every game he's picking up a yellow.
I can't imagine it was on purpose. All those fouls he has all the time. I think he's just too overzealous.
No, this one specifically, because if he got a yellow here, he's suspended for the next game, but it doesn't. That means that he wouldn't get suspended for like a quarter or semifinal, right? He's just missing this first quarterfinal game, not like a latter stage game. And so I don't know. I mean, I don't think it was entirely on purpose, but I think in terms of the game, the only other things I have to say, because again, we're all very impressed and we're all very happy with how it went. I thought Ricky Puig had a decent cameo. At least he's getting time with so many articles written in the last few weeks about how he doesn't really have a spot. I was glad to see, Xavi give him some time out there. I think Nico Gavi kind of came on late. We described how Nico was a little bit at fault for that first goal, and so he didn't have a great game. But other than that, there's not much you can complain about with a performance like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Everything was beautiful. I actually enjoyed watching Barca. Right,
Yep.
I feel like for so long we've been struggling watching game after game and just being like, that was the result again.
Are we going to fold again? Or are we going to let up a lead like we did to Celta Vigo?
Exactly. Yeah, so I mean, I think we can only be happy from here. As you said earlier, taper our expectations. We still got a lot of work to do. We still have a lot of big games coming up. Like we said, Sunday we'll be back for Athletic Bilbao, and we hope to see you guys in that video. Please
let us
stay
know
safe.
in the comments what you guys think about the game. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, and thank you guys for the support. We'll be back.
Let's go. Thanks, guys.
Bye.